Hi, I'm Greg from RV Haulers. We brought another truck into the shop. Behind me you'll see Decker, the purple truck. It's a 2009 Volvo 780 with a D16 500 horsepower engine and an I-shift transmission. I want to give you a little catch up here as to what we're doing to this truck and see the status of things. Our preliminary inspection of this truck before we purchased it showed that it was in really good condition. Some of you might have seen the video from Greg Decker, the original owner, and the kind of attention to detail that he had when he took care of this truck. It was really interesting to be able to receive an Excel spreadsheet that showed all of the maintenance history since day one and all of the dates and mileage as to when he performed that maintenance. Really a great sign of an owner-operator and the kind of truck that we were looking for. What we're going to be doing to this truck is singling it short. What that means is we're taking that number 2 axle completely out, the one with the power divider, and taking the main drive axle, the number 3, and moving it into its factory position. So we don't have to drill any new holes in the frame. We're going to be using the existing suspension holes, just moving this rear one into that number 2 position. You can see we've already taken off the commercial 5th wheel plate and we started to take out the torque arms on both of those axles. You'll see the torches out. We've started to cut off some of those suspension components as well that are just tough to get to because they've been rusted on for so long. Of course, a lot of these bolts are huck bolts as well, so they just can't be removed. They got to be cut off. Because this one is going to be singled short, one of the changes you're going to see in this build is that we're not going to be taking a lot of the wires off the outside of the frame. We want to leave as many as we can in this case because they're not going to be rerouted. They're going to be left in their factory positions and hooked up to the new axle. So as I said, we're leaving a lot of the wiring and the lines intact. This truck came equipped, the rear axle has a locker, and I'll point out to you up front, the front axle has a locker as well. So one switch on the dash was engaging a locker for both axles, which was kind of neat. What's also nice here is the leveling mechanism is right there. So we're going to be able to leave that right in place when we roll the new axle in to the number 2 position up here. That's going to be in the right spot. So we're able to leave intact our air lines, our brake controllers, our Bendix controller. You'll see that we've kept track of a few of our connectors with different tie wraps so that we don't lose track of which ones were fronts. This truck we were kind of lucky. If you look at some of the connectors, especially for the ABS, they had labeling on them. A little bit hard to see, but if you kind of unfold that and clean it off, you'll see it's marked as to which connector it was. So this singling short project is a little bit easier than the last one you might have seen, the GV, the gray Volvo, where we were putting it into a mid position. So at this stage we've also taken out both of those drive shafts, the one from the transmission to the steady bearing, as the steady bearing is completely gone, and the one to the power divider axle was removed as well. It was right there. You can just hear we're putting the front tires back on. We're going to get those drive shafts inspected, and of course one is going to be lengthened. Alright, the front brakes have checked out really well. We've got 80% on the brake shoes themselves, and we see that we have 60% on the drums, so those are going to last a really long time. This truck has been outfitted with a 6,000 watt APU. It came with it already, so that was a nice bonus on the truck. So we're getting really close to the point of cutting off all those huck bolts, getting the suspension components off, front and back, and we're going to roll the back axle out. We're going to roll the second axle out and roll that rear axle back into the short position.